High definition from your news leader. This is 1024 Action News at 11.
Saturday evening, I'm Saida Abbas. Thank you so much for joining us. Erie police are investigating a robbery that took place Friday night around 9:45. It's continuing coverage tonight at 11. The Family Dollar store at 2307 State Street was robbed. Erie police have no suspect at this time. Since that robbery, police said the store has reopened. A total of $196 in cash was taken from the store. Police continue to investigate. According to Erie police, an arrest has been made for the July 19th suspicious fire at 924 Hess Avenue. Michael Paul LeMay of Erie was arrested Friday for that fire. He's suspected of pouring gasoline around the home and in the air conditioning unit. There were 7 people home at the time and no one was injured. LeMay is currently in the Erie County Prison. Erie Downtown Development Corporation confirmed Saturday morning the sale and closing of the McDonald's at 5th and State Streets in a statement released Saturday morning. John Persinger said yesterday, October 18, 2019, the EDDC acquired the land at 5th and State Street from McDonald's Corporation. As part of the deal, McDonald's Corporation required the EDDC to not make any public comments until a sale was finalized. Now that the purchase is complete, we look forward to sharing more details in the next few days. In an effort to prevent a fire tragedy from happening again in Erie, children and families attended an event to learn about the importance of fire safety. Star Bodie was at the Booker T. Washington Center and has more on what experts are saying about safety within your homes. It's news out of your community.
It's all about staying safe and having a plan in the instance of a fire. The Erie Fire Department did just that, teaching families and kids the importance of fire safety.
General, just to get a plan, get smoke detectors in your house, get a plan, practice getting out of that house if there was something to go on.
Kids had the opportunity to ask firefighters firsthand questions about their gear, truck, and fire safety. The event helped teach people more about their homes, including having a plan and where to have smoke detectors in place. The American Red Cross Disaster Relief Vehicle was also on site to help families learn about recovery services.
It's important so the children can understand so that it be safety. And we teach them about how to be safety in their homes. So they learn about having protection.
The Erie Fire Department wants to remind kids the importance of fire safety rules and what to look out for in the instance of a fire.
If there's a fire in your house and it's like on your clothes, you have to stop, drop, and roll. And like don't run because a fire can like go like bigger and it can like go on your clothes and stuff.
There are many takeaways from this fire prevention event, but the Erie Fire Department wants you to remember one.
And you want to put a plan together with your children, show them where the smoke detectors are, push a button, let them hear what a smoke detector is, show them to keep the doors to their bedrooms closed. If there was a fire, how would you get out of the house?
Star Bodie, Jet 24 Action News.
And there was a big turnout at St. Vincent's to see all the new services they have to offer. St. Vincent, part of the Allegheny Health Network, provided the community with an advanced look at its new facility in celebration of the long-awaited construction over the past few years. Visitors had the chance to come together for a day full of fun. St. Vincent's even gave a free tour of the facility, which included them getting to see emergency room beds, x-ray rooms, and trauma rooms.
People came down here not just because they were curious, they wanted to get comfortable with the new entryways and so forth because they're patients here. So I've gotten that feedback, and of course they're coming up to our doctors and nurses.
The new emergency department is expected to be up and running in the next few weeks. One of Erie's very own was honored, a child from Erie gaining the spotlight because of a picture-perfect poster. 8-year-old Jayla Holloway received recognition from the National Association of Housing and Redevelopment officials for her What Home Means to Me contest entry. Her drawing includes her beautifully decorated home with flowers and a touch of love.
Because it's like it reminds me of my granny house a little bit because she used to have that swing there and like a front porch.
Jayla is one of 13 national winners chosen for the 2020 Housing Redevelopment Calendar. It was a celebration of 50 years in the community. The St. Martin Center, a social service agency, had a dinner for their anniversary. They call it their Celestial Soiree. The agency has served families who have dealt with crisis in their lives. The Caplia family shared how they overcame their obstacles in the past with the help of St. Martin. A volunteer also honored at the dinner for being with the agency for 50 years.
Well, it's like I said, it's a celebration, you know, and we're just thankful to everybody, whether it's the clients and the funders, the elected officials. A lot of people have played, and of course the diocese. We're a Catholic Charities agency, so.
All proceeds from the dinner will help the agency provide valuable programs to people throughout Erie County. These programs help feed the hungry, educate children, and help families stay in their homes. Coming up on Jet 24, a call for help out at sea, one that required the Orange County Sheriff's Department to help. 2 men being rescued after their boat catches on fire. That's after Dan's forecast. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Saida. We have some cold temperatures, especially in Warren County. Some of you getting into the 30s, a little bit of rain to the west. Let you know when that could arrive and much more after the break.
At UPMC McGee Women's Hospital, we deliver compassionate fertility care. We deliver fertility preservation for young boys facing cancer treatments. And the only pre-implantation genetic screening program in the state. And we deliver a full spectrum of advanced infertility treatments for men and women. All this so we can deliver your bundle of joy.
Now's the time to hit the trail in a new RAV4 and go big with model year-end savings. It's go time at Toyota. So take your adventures to a new level. Lease a RAV now for $239 a month, or buy with 1.9% APR, or get up to $1,000 total cash allowance. It's go time at Toyota. Visit your local dealer and test drive one today. Toyota, let's go places.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, I'm just so pumped we got all this McDonald's at such a great price.
Grab 2 double cheeseburgers and a basket of fries for only $6.
Wake up with a smile on your face every morning when you sleep on a DLX mattress. A DLX mattress can be custom adjusted just by changing the position of the firmness layers. That means you get the comfort that's best for you. Visit DLXmattress.com and take the sleep test.
The hottest tech trends featured by local experts. It's Tech Talk, Wednesdays during Jet 24 Action News. Good Morning Erie at 6 a.m. and streamed online 24/7 at YourErie.com. Brought to you by the tech authorities at Enormous Mobile Specialties.
What do customers think of their new kitchen by Klein?
I wouldn't hesitate to recommend Klein.
Get a new Klein kitchen now with 0%, no payments for a year financing.
Klein Home Solutions. It's time to call Klein.
See the video at KleinHomeSolutions.com.
From Jet 24, here's meteorologist Dan Rupp, your weather authority.
Hey, welcome back. We got your first shot here of the Quick Fill weather camera at the Erie Bayfront, and some rain showers showing up here to the west. A lot of this is weakening, very, very light in western Ohio. And there's a cold front, but I don't think that cold front will even make it through because it will just fall apart, and temperatures expected to warm up tomorrow. Check out this awesome drone shot from Austin, Detzel, and Green Township. I think this is the Green Meadows subdivision, and you can see the fall colors really starting to pop. Lake Erie on the east side of your screen, or the right side of your screen, and the sunset colors as well. Really nice picture there, Austin. Thanks for sharing that with us. 45 in Gudgeonville, McCain at 49 degrees, Penn State Barron at 51, and Corey down to 41 degrees right now. 46 in Conneaut Lake Westford. Gary has 44. We got some 30s right now in Warren County. Chandler's Valley at 36, and Pittsfield at 38 degrees. Here's a look at the winds. Pretty light out there, only about 5 to 10 along the lakeshore, calm, and a lot of other areas. 62 was the high today. The average high is 60, and 38 was your low temperature last night. 44 was the average, and some of you got into the 20s last night and got that frost, even some freezing fog. 31.04 for the year, 1.41 for the month. No precipitation measured today. So your headlines, the leftover system moving through tomorrow, and that could give us a very small chance of some rain showers. Rain becomes more likely on Tuesday with a more potent system. that's expected to push through. Lake forecast for tomorrow, water temperature at 59, slight chance of rain waves 1 foot or less, winds south 5 to 15, and then shifting northwest, becoming about less than 10 knots. So you see the rain to the west. Again, some of that, maybe some sprinkles, 1 or 2 showers may make it into our area, but then we get, some more dry conditions once this moves through. And then this system for Monday evening and Tuesday, that will bring some rain showers. It looks pretty likely. The jet stream dips down to the west. It looks like we're going to get a lot of cold air, but this thing kind of flattens out by the time it gets to us, so temperatures don't drop too much. Post-tropical cyclone Nestor, it is going to track across Georgia and then off the coast. And this thing had a history of producing tornadoes in Florida. Hopefully we don't see any more of that, but I think there was about 6 confirmed tornadoes in Florida from that thing. Futurecast for tomorrow, we have a high pressure right over there in the Atlantic, and this cold front, you can see it just disappears. It doesn't quite make it, but we might have just enough moisture where a shower or 2 may sneak in tomorrow. And then after that, by the late afternoon and evening, we should just be dealing with mostly sunny skies with that high pressure system. And then Monday evening, this is 10 o'clock, showers starting to move in, around sunset or just afterward. And that rain shower activity continues through Tuesday morning. And then Tuesday afternoon, that is now east of us, and we should see some clearing skies as the cold front moves to the east. Much drier air starts to push into the region. There's a trough after that. You can see right there. 35 tonight for the mountains, 43 inland, 46 lakeshore. And some spots may even get lower than that, especially in the valleys. Partly cloudy, winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Your lakeshore forecast for tomorrow, 63 to 67, turning mostly sunny, just a slight chance of rain. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny in the inland areas, 62 to 66, maybe showers sneaking in there. And for the higher elevations, 60 to 64 with more PM sun. Tomorrow night, 43 to 52, mostly clear and, pretty cool, chilly in other spots. 7-day forecast, increasing clouds Monday, a nice 74. That's going to feel nice. Mainly morning showers Tuesday with that cold front. Chance in the morning, a little bit of lake effect on Wednesday at 58. And then mostly cloudy on Thursday at 61. Check out that forecast and our weather cameras, yourerie.com. Saida?
Thank you so much, Dan. Here are some of the headlines in tomorrow's Meadville Tribune. $200K grant to help assess potential environmental concerns along French Creek corridor in Meadville. Jail time for Titusville man who beat friend with baseball bat. Licensing boards try to rein in wait times. Check out the Jet 24 weather forecast on page 2. Coming up on Jet 24, get ready to see some girl power on display here. A spacewalk garnering attention while also being called a historic moment.
If you get your flu shot through LECOM Center for Health and Aging, your co-pay dollars stay local and underwrite programs that benefit our community.
Save big and start planning for next season with 2019 model year closeout pricing now at Penn RV Center in Titusville. Save on Flagstaff, Wildwood, and Vibes, as well as finding great deals on our used selection of RVs. Penn RV has antifreeze and other winterizing supplies to make sure you're ready to store your RV the right way during the winter months. So whether you do it yourself or have us do it, hitch up to Experience and see the RV experts at Penn RV Center, Route 8, 2 miles south of Titusville, and ask about our winterizing special going on now.
Let me guess. You've been mattress shopping online.
Yeah.
Does this feel soft to you? You need Easy Choice.
Easy Choice?
Yeah, that sounds easy. It is.
Can we try it?
You are. Easy
Choice. Can we take it home?
Yeah.
But we came here on these.
We deliver.
Awesome.
Find your Easy Choice. The best price, comfort, quality, and setup. It's easy.
Introducing the 2018-19 Golden Apple Teacher of the Year, Emily Ewing.
I think when teachers see that their students acknowledge and appreciate and see all of the hard work that they put in every day, that's reason to continue to recognize and honor those teachers.
Golden Apple nominations are accepted year-round on the contest page of yourerie.com. Brought to you through a partnership from Edinboro University, Jet 24, and yourerie.com.
With the all-new Silverado HD, Silverado's now the only truck brand that can offer trucks with best-in-class towing, or trucks with best-in-class camera technology, or larger, more functional beds than any competitor. The only truck that can compare to a Silverado is another Silverado. Or get a total value of over $9,300 on this Silverado with a larger, more functional bed than any competitor. Or during truck month, make no monthly payments for 90 days. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Welcome back. History was made for the first time ever. A spacewalk was done with an all-female team of astronauts. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports from Los Angeles.
Hello, United States.
That greeting from high above Earth, part of a historic moment.
Wow. Okay. That is amazing.
Both of those astronauts seen outside of the International Space Station working to replace a broken power controller are women.
There have been many other female spacewalkers before us. This is just the first time that there have been two women outside at the same time.
The first all-female spacewalk completed by Americans Jessica Meir and Christina Koch.
Nice work, Christina.
We paused to talk to President Donald Trump,
One small step.
the first sitting president to speak to astronauts outside of their vessel in space since the 1969 moon landing.
I just want to congratulate you. What you do is incredible. You're very brave people.
You know, for us, this is really just us doing our job.
The history-making accomplishment celebrated across the planet beneath those humble women, especially by young girls who woke up early to watch and be inspired.
It's really cool. I mean, we usually hear about just guys on, like, space, and, like, it's really cool seeing someone with the same gender as me being out there in space and, like, doing something so great. I think it can't be possible for anyone to do.
And the first all-female spacewalk was supposed to happen in March, but because NASA didn't have two medium-sized spacesuits, they had to change those plans. This was Meir's first spacewalk and Cook's fourth. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Two men had to be rescued after their boat caught on fire at the Newport coast. The two floated in a dinghy until Good Samaritans came to the rescue. Jessica DeNova has new video and spoke to the boat's captain about the fiery rescue.
Coast Guard, mayday, mayday, mayday.
A call for help out at sea.
We have a boat fire.
This recording from a nearby boat catches deputies with the Orange County Sheriff's Department heading out to help. The column of black smoke growing larger on board. Nick Anderson and his friend on their way back home from a diving trip to Catalina Island. But about halfway to Newport Harbor, they smelled something.
Little smoke started coming, so we turned off the engines.
Anderson says after trying to put it out with a hose and fire extinguisher.
I couldn't believe it started burning and actually flamed up. That's when we got off the boat. Luckily, we had a dinghy and nice people around to help us.
Most boats that go over to Catalina will bring a dinghy or a small tender to go to and from shore off their main boat or their larger boat. So, you know, I believe they had that with them for that reason. And luckily, you know, it was still intact. There was no damage to that.
A group on a nearby boat let the men jump on board until help arrived. The two watched deputies working to put out the flames, their boat down to the waterline. The tow company working to keep what was left from sinking.
First time it's ever happened to me, but it does happen quick. 2 to 3 minutes from smell to flame. Then you got to make a decision, quickly grab as much as you can. We just got our cell phones and our wallets. Couldn't get his keys, I wish we did. And just the clothes we had on.
This is what's left of those keys. Grateful for the kindness of strangers and glad no one was injured, Anderson is in good spirits and is sad to see his boat can no longer live up to its name.
Uno mas. One more. Now it's no mas.
An employee with Towboat US Newport Beach tells me once the fire was out, he jumped on board to pump water out and keep the boat from sinking to prevent environmental pollution. Reporting in Newport Beach, Jessica DeNova, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
When we come back, it's a musical event that hit a high note this evening. Marching bands from different high schools getting together for a big competition.
Hi, Sean Hawes here, and it's never too late to buy a Mustang, especially when we're selling them all at invoice. That's right. Bob said sell them all at invoice. And you get the rebates too, only at Bob Ferrando Ford World in Girard.
This is your great escape. A place above it all. To stay, play, and break away. Where outdoor excitement is matched only by the thrills in the casino. And unforgettable weekends come in so many ways. An incredible rush. A refreshing getaway. It's whatever you need it to be, and then some. Seneca Allegheny Resort and Casino. Nothing else comes close.
Four sports, one day, one contest that's free to play.
The FanDuel Sports Equinox Free Play Contest on Sunday, October 27th.
We filmed Pennsylvania adoptive families and asked them why more people need to become foster or adoptive parents.
As a society, we have a responsibility to make sure every kid gets from being a kid to being a responsible adult.
I would encourage anybody to do it. You get so much more out of it than you expect.
Visit adoptpakids.org to watch the video, meet the kids, and learn how you can become a foster or adoptive parent.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
With the all-new Silverado HD, Silverado's now the only truck brand that can offer trucks with best-in-class towing, or trucks with best-in-class camera technology, or larger, more functional beds than any competitor. The only truck that can compare to a Silverado is another Silverado. Or get a total value of over $9,300 on this Silverado with a larger, more functional bed than any competitor. Or during Truck Month, make no monthly payments for 90 days. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Do you know why people always ask me, how does Bob do it?
How does he do it?
How does he do it?
Because they can't figure out why my prices are so low. That's why. Only at Bob Ferrando Ford World in Girard.
Across the country, it's America's favorite jackpot game. Get ready, everybody. This is Powerball. Good evening, America. I'm Sam Marlin. Tonight, we have a guaranteed jackpot for you. It is worth $110 million. I hope you have your Powerball tickets out. Good luck. Let's see how you did tonight. First number down is 65 to lead us off. And right after that, we have 27. Here's Edna Whetstone from Iowa. Edna won $100,000 playing Powerball. Next number down is 59. That's followed by 14. And we are going to wind it up for you tonight with 29. All right, now for your winning Powerball number, it is 12 tonight. And that Power Play multiplier is 2. Take one more close look at tonight's winning numbers from all of us here at the Florida Powerball Studios. Have a great night. We'll see you back here this Wednesday night. Bye, everybody.
Welcome back. Hitting a high note this evening, Harbor Creek High School hosted the Horns of Plenty band competition. Competition, 300-plus members of the University of Pittsburgh Panther Marching Band giving a really special exhibition performance. Other bands scheduled to attend were Bradford Area High School, Fairview High School, Northeast High School, and more.
This weather is perfect for us, which is good. We've certainly not had good weather in the past, so it's nice to have weather like this for us here at Harbor Creek.
15 of the area's best high school marching bands performed for the final time before the LMBA Championships on October 26th. Mike Fenner joins us with sports. Another big game for the Otters, plus a lot of college football action. Hi, Mike.
Good evening, Saida, and thanks. Yeah, we're going to get to some college football action, including a potential upset alert type game going on in the Borough. The original rivalry between Slippery Rock and Edinboro, plus Gannon Mercier's Allegheny, the Otters. So much more in sports coming your way up next.
It's here. Save up to 70% off floor samples. It's a store-wide inventory reduction sale. 4 days only at John V. Schultz. At near or below cost. Bring your truck, plus save an extra 15% off reduced prices. It's Monday at John V. Schultz.
Want your news first? We've got you covered.
Download the Your Erie To Go app now.
Get news alerts sent straight to your phone.
Stay safe and informed with severe weather warnings and regular weather updates. Whenever and wherever you need them.
Download Your Erie To Go now from the App Store for free.
Get your Jet 24 news and weather where you need it and when you want it. Your Erie To Go. Available for both Android and iOS. Download it for free and stay connected.
At Jet 24, Fox 66, and YourErie.com, we're loving living and giving local.
And you can too.
Along with one warm coat, we're partnering with Superstore Joe and all of his friends at Auto and Off-Road Express to make sure our neighbors stay warm this winter.
And we need your help.
Drop off any new or gently worn coats of any size to the TV station or any of the Auto or Off-Road Express locations before November 2nd.
We're giving local 'cause it's where we love to be.
John V. Schultz is having an iComfort mattress closeout sale with up to $500 off. iComfort mattresses start at just $21 a month with no money down, 5-year special financing. 2 free Ashley Sleep pillows with purchase. Going on now at John V. Schultz.
Tuesday, November 5th, Senior Helpers welcomes dementia education specialist Teepa Snow to the Zemzem Shrine Club on 38th and Zook. The 8 a.m. session targets healthcare professionals with 3 CEs being offered. The 2 p.m. session is open to anyone. These information-packed seminars are a must-see for anyone who has been touched by dementia. Register for one or both sessions at eventbrite.com. Proceeds benefit the local Alzheimer's Association. A big thank you to these main sponsors.
Now, Jet 24's Mike Fenner with sports.
Welcome on in. It's time for sports. While Mercyhurst and Gannon don't meet for another few weeks on the gridiron, the Lakers riding high, coming into the day with 3 straight wins over Erie County teams, and back home for Seton Hill. Marty Schetzel's Lakers hosting the Griffins, leading 20-16 in the 4th quarter. Seton Hill going deep, though. Ryan Barabi to Tayro Gaither, 34 yards to the Mercyhurst 1. Next play, a QB keep, touchdown, 16 plays, 93 yards, just over 7 minutes, 23-20 Seton Hill. Lakers trying to engineer a tying or go-ahead drive. They get neither. Doug Altavilla intercepted in the end zone by Farden Allen. 3 plays later, Seton Hill is off to the races. 78 yards for the touchdown. Michael Valentino on the reception here. Seton Hill takes the 30-20 lead. Scary moment at Saxon Stadium on the ensuing drive. Altavilla tries to get out of trouble with the rush coming. He'll take a hard and heavy hit here right to the head area. Goes down, and he would be down for a few minutes. But luckily, the medical staff able to get him off the field as he was able to walk off and would not finish this game, of course. Mercyhurst, though, would fall in this one after a late fumble. They lose this one 30-20 against the Griffins. More local college football. Edinboro hosting 9th-ranked Slippery Rock. The original rivalry at Sox Harrison Stadium. Fighting Scots got the football first, and after some nice runs of 22 and 23 yards from Dorian Woody and here from C.J. Reyes-Diggs, it's going to be the field goal unit coming out for a 23-yard attempt. Vicente Arriagada makes it 3-0 Fighting Scots. The Rock getting the high-octane offense going, and first a short completion, one of 13 connections between Roland Rivers and Conneaut grad Henry Litwin. Hit 131 yards and a touchdown as well. Slippery Rock finds the end zone on their first drive. Rivers rolling around and winds up keeping it for the score, 7-3 for the visitors. McDowell grad Levi Becker getting the start and going deep here. He went for over 200 yards, and Tanaz Gregory went for 169 yards, 45 of them right there, 11 catches, now 214 career receptions, ranking #1 all time in the school's history. Woody, a 4-yard touchdown to cap the drive. 10-7 Borough after 1, but Slippery Rock wins at 41-30, staying undefeated. Down to McConnell Family Stadium, Gannon hosting California University of Pennsylvania. 23-7 lead for the Vulcans in the second. Trying to add to it, Noah Mitchell working into the Gannon red zone, finds Tyson Hill on the out pattern. Vulcans get a field goal out of it. 11 plays, 66 yards on the drive. 29-yard boot makes it 26-7 Cal. Jimmy Keefe of the Gannon offense were suffocated today. 100 yards passing, actually short of that for Keefe. 206 total yards offensively. Defense makes a play, though, late in the half off the deflection. Aaron Webb, the interception for the Gold Knights, but they fall to 2-5 with a 54-14 home loss. Allegheny looking for its first win of the season, hosting Kenyon down in Meadville. Gators scoreless in the first till Austin French scores 6 yards out and in. Again, Allegheny leads at 7-0. Later in the first, Naz Greer for Dwayne Barber, 53-yard touchdown. 1 of 5 on the day for Greer. To the second, Alex Victor getting open as well on the rollout here. Back of the end zone, 21-0 Gators. Ben Bachik would catch an 8-yard touchdown to make it 28-0. 35-0 at the half. And Greer with 305 yards, 5 touchdowns. Allegheny gets the shutout win, 49-0. First win as Rich Nagy is the head coach of the Gators. His first win as head coach there at Abbey Valley. 7th-ranked Penn State hosting 16th-ranked Michigan at Beaver Stadium. Second drive for Penn State. Sean Clifford hitting Pat Fryermuth. 17-yard touchdown back of the end zone there. 7-0 Nittany Lions. Penn State gets the ball back. Second quarter, Clifford runs it in from 2 yards out. 14-0 lead for Penn State. Later in the second, Michigan's Shea Patterson picked off. Tariq Castro Fields, how many names does he have? On the screen pass, gets the turnover. Penn State turns it into a touchdown here. Clifford, 25 yards to K.J. Hamler. That would be a huge connection. And Hamler would pick up a huge first down late in the 4th quarter to seal it. Penn State led 21-7 at the half. They win it 28-21 to move to 7-0. To the OHL, the Otters hosting Mississauga for a third game in 3 nights, winning Thursday, falling 7-5 last night. And back to the home ice we go. No score in the first. About 4 minutes in, Thomas Harley makes it 1-0 Steelheads. Otters down a goal in the second. Hayden Fowler comes up with the backhand goal here. 1-1 game. Mississauga would retake the lead in the second as well. But right before the end of the period, Otters would tie it up once again as Chad Yetman takes off. Fires one home. He has 11 goals to lead the Otters on the year. We'd need a shootout, though. Richard Whitaker with the lone make from Mississauga. Yetman could not force a 4th round. Otters fall 3-2 in the shootout. Local college hockey, Mercier's women hosting RIT after a 4-2 win last night in the CHA opener. No score through most of the period. 18 seconds to go in the frame. Emma Newtonen with a goal makes it 1-0. Merciers gets the win 6-0 on the home ice. To the NHL, Knights at the Penguins. And former Pittsburgh goalie Marc-Andre Fleury was marvelous for Vegas. No score in the second power play. Paul Stastny scores his 4th of the year. Wide open net, the sweet feed from Cody Glass. Fleury, Flower, power, 29 saves, and the shutout victory. Penguins fall 3-0 on the home ice. Postseason beginning for General McLean and District 10 girls soccer this morning. First round matchup, pitting them against Grove City. 4-0 McLean leading coming out of the half, and they like me just enough to score a few goals here. 30 seconds into the second, Tegan Watkins with the goal. She also had 3 assists. 5-0 McLean. Later in the half, off the corner, Brooklyn Respecki, one of her 3 goals. She also added a helper. McLean wins 7-0. They'll take on LaBeouf on October 22nd at 7:30 from Dollinger Field. Slippery Rock over Fairview 2-0, and Sharon eliminates Corey 1-0 in overtime in girls playoff scores. Local college soccer, 10th ranked Gannon men hosting rival Mercyhurst. As we head back down to McConnell Family Stadium, perhaps Gannon would look good in this one. I'm not sure if we'll get to see it, though. They took a 1-0 lead on the Alex Leog goal in the 19th minute. Here we go. And Sergio Del Castillo would add another in the 85th. Gannon gets the win over Mercyhurst 2-0. They also get a win in women's soccer 3-1. Game 6 of the ALCS, Astros lead the Yankees 4-2 in the 8th inning at last check. So there you have it.
Thank you, Mike. Go Penn State. And when we come back, Dan has one final look at the forecast.
When you choose Bianchi Honda, you can focus on the road before you. Forget the obstacles and feel the road. Focus on being there, being present. Feel in the moment and feel confident in your Honda.